JLB, back with part 3 of my reactions to 1983's CES as part of the E3 2021 hype train, and apparently it's coming sooner than I thought. I believe it's supposed to be taking place early in June, but I can't be sure. Either way, once E3 2021 comes around, this series will stop. But it will pick up again when E3 2022 gets on the road. Anyway, without further ado, let's head back to 1983 Summer CES and have a look at the Atari 5200.
This begins the Atari 5200 software.
So, again, just like with the 2600, Atari was trying to go after licenses for their games. Like this one, Sport Goofy. Don't think that was released for the 5200, but if it were, it would have been the first Disney licensed game that Atari would have for the system. Yeah, it kind of captures the goofiness of Goofy. Next we have Miss Pac-Man. From the footage I've seen, this was a pretty good port. Whereas the port for Miss Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 was pretty much meh. The Atari 5200 port of Jungle Hunt. Definitely a graphical improvement as opposed to the 2600 port. Pole Position. Yet another graphical improvement as opposed to the port for the 2600. And unlike that said port, this one actually has road signs like in the actual game. In the actual arcade game, of course, but unfortunately they might all be blank. I think it was the one for the 7800 that had logos on the signs, like for Atari and such. Ah, Dig Dug. Another port that's close to the arcade original. I played the arcade original. It's actually harder than you think. Especially when trying to get all your enemies under the rocks when you want to crush them. I mean, do you know how hard it is to manage to get a Puka or a Figar underneath a rock so you can pulverize them? Or get them in range for your bike pump? Ah, here's the start of their Real Sports series. Real Sports Baseball. You see, they saw the success that Intellivision had with Major League Baseball for the Intellivision, which actually featured synthesized voice. And it didn't require the IntelliVoice because it didn't come out when the Intellivision first came out. But Real Sports Baseball, big graphical improvement, and it actually had synthesized voice. Of course, it would be followed by several other games of the Real Sports series. Real Sports Basketball, Football, Tennis. And here we have the Atari 5200 port of Joust. I said it last time, I'll say it again. Joust is my pick for the weirdest game concept ever. Any of you who are gamers out there, I dare you. Or, no, I don't dare. I challenge you to name a game that's weirder than Joust. Ah, Vanguard. Another arcade port, but I think they may have ported it to the 2600, but I didn't see it in this Summer CES presentation. But quite clearly, it's close to the arcade original. You see, Atari was really hoping that this system, the 5200, would do what the ColecoVision was doing, because this system was meant to compete with the ColecoVision and bring arcade quality visuals to the screen. And last, they have Berserk. Definitely one of the more interesting games. I mean, in the arcade version, it had a synthesized robot voice. But judging by this port, you definitely have one thing that's stuck with the that's stuck from the arcade original, the dumb AI. And another thing, Evil Otto, a bouncy smiley face thing that comes onto the screen as soon as after a certain period of time. And that does it. Well, that was the summer CES of '83. Again, this was before the video game crash in 1983, before video games met their eventual downslide, which would last until 1985 when Nintendo brought back the market with the Nintendo Entertainment System, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I believe the next stop on the E3 2021 hype train will be the 1984 Summer CES, or Winter CES, or both, or whatever. But anyway, catch you then. See you soon.